We're back with some breaking news out of the White House and the Trump administration. Just in the last few minutes, a source familiar tells MS Now that DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin is leaving the Trump administration. McLaughlin has been one of the most public and fiercest defenders of the White House's sweeping immigration crackdown. MS Now senior White House reporter Vaughn Hilliard just confirmed that news for us. So, Vaughn, what more do we know here?
Right, Allie. Tricia McLaughlin is somebody who had been elevated to Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. She was a key ally to Kristi Noem, really the one who would feverishly go out and defend the deportation operations in the immigration proceedings that this administration has helmed over the course of the last year. After the arrest and the deportation of Kilmer Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, she was the one that put out information making allegations to justify the deportation of Kilmer Abrego Garcia before he was ultimately returned. After that, it was the Department of Justice that filed criminal charges against Garcia, who remains out until his trial date. But she was also somebody who defended the detention of 5-year-old Liam and the reasoning behind DHS's decision to detain the young child. She is somebody who has suggested that DHS data had shown that a great majority of the individuals who had been deported and detained under the Trump administration were convicted criminals. Much of that data that was put out there came into deep questions as you began to unwrap some of the numbers. She is somebody here who was very much on the front lines of defending not only the way in which these operations were conducted, but also the heart of why the Trump administration was proceeding with these mass deportation efforts. She was somebody that you would see by the side of Kristi Noem as well as Tom Homan. I think it's worth noting that she did come into the Trump administration after working as a close aide to Vivek Ramaswamy's presidential campaign, and then helped oversee those initial months of DOJ's operations before joining DHS. But her intended departure is notable at a time in which the American public's view of the handling of the Trump administration's immigration proceedings has gone from a net negative to approval rating upon taking office at inauguration in 2025 to now negative 22 percentage points, according to recent AP polling, Allie.
Yeah, certainly the polling shows concern about an overreach here on an issue that was politically powerful to this administration. But I think it also comes amid some other changes, right? You've got the wind down of Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis. You had Tom Homan swapped in for Greg Bovino as the person leading that charge. You've got now McLaughlin on the outs. Does this say anything about a potential Noem departure or other changes being made? Is this the administration trying to put a new face on it? I mean, do we have any sense of the motivations?
The president just this weekend suggested he's going to continue to stand behind Kristi Noem as questions are being asked about the positions of not only Noem, but also Corey Lewandowski inside of the Department of Homeland Security. Tom Homan, just on Sunday, said that he continues to cooperate and work with Kristi Noem. The administration, we should be clear, has not made it explicitly clear where it intends to carry out another sort of mass operation like we just saw play out in Minneapolis. Is that operation comes to a drawdown here. So I think, Allie, your question is very key. We were used to seeing Stephen Miller out here on the driveway outside of the White House defending these operations. And so I think it is a question going into the spring here, the extent to which these immigration deportations continue to be front and center for this administration ahead of the midterms.
Yeah, I think that a lot of questions about this news that you've just broken to us. Vaughn Hilliard, I know you're going to keep reporting. Bring us back anything you get. And thanks for coming back.